Hi, and welcome to the Big Ranch Show. On the show today, one topic, ISIS and the threat they pose to the world. ISIS is the number one threat facing the world today, but you wouldn't know it from the number of nations that have actually joined in the fight. You have the U.S., you have the Iranians, and you have the Jordanians. The U.S. and the Jordanians are providing air support, and the U.S. is providing logistics to the troops on the ground. Iran's joined in with the military forces and the militias in Iraq, but they're not having as much success as they need to in order to wipe this threat from the earth. You have Ramadi, which is about 70 miles to the west of Baghdad, the Iraqi capital, and the Iraqi government is not sending reinforcements. They are not providing air support according to security forces on the ground. It's time the rest of the world, the Arab world, and the global community get together and we fight this threat and wipe ISIS from the earth. ISIS is doing no good for anybody except themselves. They are hurting innocent people. They are selling children into sex slavery and marrying them off at young ages. They're throwing gay people from roofs just because they're gay. They're stoning women for walking around without a man. They're basically the Taliban 2.0, and nobody really seems to give a flip. It's about time the rest of the world stands up and says no more. Take the Saudis, for example. They say they support us, yet they're not providing any support. Their idea is to build a fence and put their troops there and say, U.S., fight the fight for us. Please save us. Well, this isn't going to work. The U.S., one, we cannot afford to send troops back in. We really don't have the money to be doing all the military fighting. It's costing us enough just to do the fighting we're doing. The Iraqi military is weak, and the Saudis have a military of their own. They just refuse to help anybody else. They want us to fight the world's fights. Well, it's about time for the rest of the Arab world, including the Saudis, to stand up to Islamic terrorism and say we are not going to accept it. The problem is you're not going to see this because there are factions within the Saudi government that support that crazy form of Islam that the Islamic State follows. The only way that we're going to be able to take these people and push them back and ultimately destroy them is if we meet them with the same force and the same brutality that they're meeting us with, and they're meeting the rest of these innocent civilians with. We cannot stand for Sharia law. We cannot allow these people to continue taking over the Middle East. Forget whether or not you support war. I don't even support war myself. It's a last resort. And the problem is this is a last resort. If we do not take care of them now, they will continue doing what they're doing and it will never stop. They'll end up taking over the entire Middle East, and then they'll start attacking the U.S. and other places from their little home base there. We let this happen before in Afghanistan with the Taliban when they came to power. They came to power doing the same kind of thing, taking huge swaths of land, and then ultimately taking over the country and imposing a brutal form of Sharia law in much the same way as ISIS. We must stand and fight. We cannot allow there to be a Taliban 2.0 unchecked. We know what that did last time. The last time that led to 9/11 because Afghanistan became a place where Osama bin Laden was allowed to just hang out and sit there and everything, and we didn't do anything about it. The rest of the world did nothing about it. So it's about time we stand up to terrorism, Islamic terrorism, and these fucking jihadists and let them go. It's about time to get rid of them.